Researchers at Harvard University looked into Airbnb renters and those looking to rent, and they found that if you have a black-sounding name, you are at a disadvantage. Now, this expands on previous research that shows that if you have a black-sounding name, you're at a disadvantage. But now it specifically looks at Airbnb. Now, a working paper from 3 Harvard Business School researchers suggests that users with black names have more trouble booking rentals. While the company doesn't require users to post a picture when they sign up with the service, it does require a name, right? So people might not see what your image looks like, but if you have a black sounding name, well, they might subconsciously have some bias that leads them to not want to rent their space to you. The team made inquiries into just under 6,400 rentals on the site in Baltimore, Dallas, Los Angeles, St. Louis, and Washington, D.C., using identical users' details except for names that might have indicated their race. White Lori versus Black Latoya, for example. They found that black guests were accepted roughly 16% less often than white guests.
Well, that's pretty significant. And then, of course, we'll hear that we're race baiting for quoting facts. So sorry to the Young Turks went into the field and made that study up. Okay, so we didn't, and so it exists, and this is why African Americans feel frustrated in the country. But wait, now this is the other part of what we always talk about is, it's not that people are necessarily doing it on purpose. Mm-hmm. And that's why they feel like, why do you keep saying there's racism in the country when I'm not racist? And it's because they're not trying to act racist. A lot of this is subconscious. In fact, on the whole, as the researchers say here, we find that the results are remarkably persistent. Both African American and white hosts discriminate against African American guests. Both male and female hosts discriminate. So it's not just white people who discriminate against black people, it's also black people discriminating against black people. Because that poison of the stereotype is in the back of a lot of our heads. I don't want to say all of our heads,
right,
but a lot of our heads.
Yeah, and it's not, I like that you brought that up. It's really important because it's not only black and white, it's every ethnicity, right? It's not like Airbnb is just black and white. You have Asians, you have Hispanics, you have all sorts of people that are renting their space on the service. And so I don't think this is a black or white issue. I think this is more an issue of the biases that we have, the stereotypes that we've bought into, and whether or not we want to accept the fact that maybe subconsciously those biases are playing a role in our decision making.
Yeah, and by the way, unfortunately, it also applies the reverse direction too. The same group of researchers has looked into other alleged discrimination on the platform, noting in a paper last year that non-black hosts were able to charge 12% more than black hosts for similar rentals.
Yeah, that was the thing that jumped out at me. That's a weird one, isn't it?
I mean, yeah. Because think about it, what Mark's saying, why it's weird. Because, okay, now a lot of people will will say, oh, well, you know, blacks are more likely to be this or that, and that's why I don't want to rent my house out to them, and that's not discrimination. Let's just keep it real, right? Okay, now wait a minute. How about if you're going to their house and it's the same house either way, but you don't want to pay for a black house? So why not? What difference does it make, right? It's not like you can't use the excuse of, oh, they're going to be criminals, oh, they're going to take my stuff. It's their stuff, right? No, but still 12% difference. Because it isn't about that. It's about the stereotype. It's this discrimination that we've bred into the culture. So let's take it out of the culture. That's why we put a spotlight on it, so we can realize it, so we can make it better.